What's up guys, it's Parrot, founder of Parrot CTFs. Today we will be going over Stacy's office. This is a red team lab on Parrot CTFs. If you would like, you can also follow along on our blog right here. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to minimize that. And let's start off with an Nmap scan. We're going to do Nmap on the target machine. Enable verbosity, do enumerate service versions and default scripts. And we'll notice that port 80 and port 22 is open, so while that is finishing up, we can go ahead and open this up in the browser. Let's copy this IP address. Paste that there. It looks like it's a default Ubuntu page. Usually that means we need to dive a bit deeper in here. I'll let you know right now that if you do try and enumerate with normal word lists, you're not going to really find anything. This is going to make you think a little bit outside of the box. It looks like your Nmap scan was done. And yep, it's an Ubuntu default page with Apache 2.4.58. It is an Ubuntu system. And then on port 22 here, we have some sort of open SSH there. And again, we can verify that it is Ubuntu. So since we aren't really going to be able to find anything with normal word lists, I'm going to go ahead and skip ahead and show you how to actually find this. This is just me clearing out a word list here. But if we do, so we're going to do ffuf with tag u for this host here. It's going to be on HTTP, there is no SSL, and then we are going to fuzz here, and then we're just going to fuzz for .md here. I already know what it is, but I'm going to show you the process here on how we would find this initial file. It's a very common file, and you should be checking them when you're pen testing applications or going through bug bounties. So we're going to do a word list of directory list. We can do MC200 to only show 200 responses here. Oh, looks like I just didn't give enough room there. All right, cool. And we're going to go ahead and let that run. It shouldn't take too long. This same concept you may want to apply to like text files, backup files, etc. And ffuf will go ahead and find them regardless. As long as you're putting those extensions there, it'll end up finding that. So in this case, it is a README. So again, make sure you're checking those README files. And if we go here, and Linux is a bit case sensitive, looks like we were able to download that file, and there are some credentials. Amazing. So install Jira on the server and connect to AD machine. Looks like this is some sort of for an internal system that they need to set this all up. Okay, so there's some AD details here. This is Jira at stacy.local. That's pretty juicy there. That's stacy.local. Summer 2024. So it looks like they're following a very common schema for passwords throughout the year. This one is summer 2024. If it was 2025, it'd be summer 2025. And then usually they'll add like a exclamation point or a $sign or 2 exclamation points, like over here, etc. So it looks like this is our local machine here. So right off the bat, we can go ahead and try SSH Jira at here. Oh. And let's see if we can SSH in with Jira as the password. It looks like we can. And because we're on the system, looks like there's our user.txt. While we're on the system, let's do some enumeration of the local system. Some of the things that we may want to look for is any other network cards here. So it looks like there's a network card here, but there's not really anything on it interesting. Does look like there's a local network here, and then there's just a 127. Wonder why this isn't assigned. Interesting. Okay, so let's check out our op directory, see if there's anything in there. Nope. Okay, let's cat etc hosts and see if there's anything interesting in there. And it looks like we have some AD machines. So since we have this README, I'm gonna just start using it as my notes. So it looks like we have some AD machines here. This is a workstation 1, which is at that IP address, and Stacy.local, which matches up with this, is right there. So what we're gonna do now, just because everything else is going to be on a different range here, is, well, first things first, let's actually see if we can run realm commands. We can. Can we do a discover of Stacy.local? Are we gonna get anything back here? Because if so, that means that this is also an Active Directory machine. And it looks like we got some information back, and we are on an Active Directory machine. And you can go ahead and root this system. However, I'm going to continue forward. If you'd like to root the system, you can. But we're gonna go ahead and compromise and get domain admin as our end goal here. Let's go ahead and make sure that 10.20.0.10 is accessible here. Looks like it is. And 9 is accessible here. It is. Awesome. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna set up a SOCKS proxy with SSH, and then we're going to do a tag D here as 1080 for dynamic port forwarding here. And then now this will act as our SOCKS proxy. And then let's edit our proxy chains. So we have proxy chains. Let's do sudo apt install proxy chains just in case though. Let's go ahead and install that. All right, then we'll do vim etc proxychains.conf. And this can be a bit of a pain to set up. Looks like there's a SOCKS 4. This is 9050. Let's change this to 1080. And it looks like it just did not have permissions there, so let's use sudo. And once again, let's change this to 1080. And if we do proxy chains nmap 10.20.0.10, are we going to get anything back here? Actually, let's see, IP-A, and let's do the one that we know the ports. So this is .13, wait, I believe it's .14, and then the port 80 and 22. And it looks like our SOCKS proxy is working correctly here. So what we're gonna do now is we'll scan this port and the 09 port. However, that does take a bit of time, and sometimes with proxy chains, it will mess up. So sometimes with proxy chains and Nmap, it'll take forever to actually execute, so keep that in mind. Additionally speaking, sometimes the logs will be like super messy, so make sure that you are actually outputting to a file to make things a bit easier if you have to like grep certain open ports and stuff like that. I'm just going to skip running this just because we know that it works here, and I already have the open ports. So here's what we're going to do. We're actually just going to define the ports here, just so you can see what that will sort of look like. 3389 and then 139 are the open ports on here. And then let's output this to a file here, and we'll output it to 10.20.0.10 TCP Nmap.txt. And there we go. Those are the open ports. And then the same thing for 09 here. 09. Going to have port 53 open. This will have 135 open, 445 open, 3389 open, 139 open, and 3269 will also be open on this one. And you'll be able to see that in a second here. And it looks like our scan executed successfully here. This 3389 is the MS server here. I believe that is RDP. And we have domain and Microsoft DS. This is likely a domain controller, whereas this is likely just a regular machine. So getting our initial foothold here, because we have 3389, and just to double check, I did want to make sure 3389 is what port, and I do believe it's RDP. It is RDP, awesome. So proxy change is going to make this incredibly difficult to RDP into here. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to install a tool here that's called SSHuttle here. And this is another proxy we can use that's going to bring everything local, so we can just directly connect to that. So we'll do sudo apt-get install SSHuttle. All right, now that we got that installed, we can just use SSHuttle here. And we are going to define Jira at, I think we can just go ahead and exit out of that. Let's grab this IP address. And then we're going to grab our local network here, which is 10.20.0.0.24. And since we know Jira's password is just Jira, we'll go ahead and enter that, and it looks like we are now connected to the server. All right, so we'll just go ahead and use our desktop, and then we can do 10.20.0.9. We'll accept that certificate. And it looks like that's not letting us connect. So we'll do sudo apt install Remina here. All right, so after we are connected via SSHuttle, we can use Remina. I did have to install Remina. Let's go ahead and get Remina open here. And then we will go to 10.20.0.9 here. And then the credentials, let's do the domain of Stacy.local. The password of summer 2024, exclamation point, and Jared. And we have this from the sysadmin machine. So we're going to go ahead and try and log in directly to the domain controller here. let's see if we can. There we go. All right, looks like we are definitely in a domain controller here. We are the Jared user. All right, let's go ahead and try and get our next foothold here. Let's do a who am I tag all. Let's see if they have any interesting permissions here. See everyone, built-in, group used for deny only. This organization, authenticated users. Here's our SID. It doesn't look like we're going to be able to directly get this machine. That's fine, but we now have 2 compromised machines here. So what we're going to do now is, because we know that it's Active Directory, let's go ahead and try for Kerberoasting. I like to use target Kerberoast, so we'll get targeted Kerberoast Python script. Let's go ahead and download this. This just makes Kerberoasting a whole lot easier. So let's go ahead and git clone that. And let's go into targeted Kerberoast. And we can do Python 3 target Kerberoast.py. And then let's enable verbosity. Let's do the domain of Stacy.local. We will probably want to edit our etc hosts file here. Let's make sure we're sudo. Parrot CTFs Red Team Labs. And then let's do 10.20.0.9 is Stacy.local. So ping Stacy.local. Nmap Stacy.local tag port 3389, and that's open. All right, cool. So let's do the user Jared and the password of summer 2024 exclamation point, and we have to do different strings here for this. All right, cool. So this is gonna go ahead and start those Kerberoasting attacks for us. And it looks like we got the administrator hash. Let's go ahead and copy this hash. There we go. And then let's do hashcat hash.txt. And that will auto detect it. There we go. There's our mode. So now let's do hashcat the mode of this mode with hash.txt. And then let's go ahead and make our own word list since we have a bunch of passwords here. Let's do pass.txt. And what are the passwords we have? Looks like we have this password, this password, and then you know what? For the hell of it, let's do 2024 as well. And then let's see if that works. Let's do here force file disable. looks like it was cracked here. The administrator password is, let's make this a bit more readable here. Looks like it was summer 2024. So let's go to our Remina client here. Let's go ahead and connect. Username administrator. This as the password. And the domain is stacy.local. Let's go ahead and see if we can connect. And it looks like we have admin access here. Let's see who we are. We are the administrator. Who am I? /all. Yep, looks like we are the administrator. There is other users you can compromise in this lab. There is a lot more to do, but I did just want to show you directly to domain admin here. Hope you enjoyed this video.